This past weekend on Friday, April 5th, 2019, I was invited to speak at the Cherry Blossom Humanities Conference at Montgomery College. This is a video recording of my speech. Please enjoy.
Our next student will be Anna Sohn, who will be presenting her work, Inspecting the Features of Twitch Emotes from a Linguistic Perspective.
Hello everyone. My name is Anna and I'm a second-year communications major. And today I'm going to be talking a little bit about a special sort of language that I studied for linguistics. I'm just going to start off with a couple of conversational examples so you can see this language in action. So I was on the phone with my friend the other day and I was sneezing and sniffling. I just couldn't stop, allergies, you know. And it was like, stop sneezing. It's that easy. Allergies don't exist, Kappa. Or maybe I'm at home and I finally get everything off my plate and I have free time and I can relax. Doesn't happen often. But if it does, I might say something like, I have no homework, poggers. I have a friend who likes to make fun of other people for their sports team choices a lot, and he often says things like, imagine being a fan of a team that loses, forehead. And once I was texting my friend and they got to the bus stop, and they said, I just missed my bus and another one doesn't come for 15 minutes. Feels bad, man. So you may get a sense of what's being said here, but most of you probably never heard these words before. What if I told you that these were actually emoticons? And not just any emoticons, these are Twitch emotes. What is Twitch? Well, I love video games and I spend a lot of time on the website twitch.tv, which is a live streaming platform where people broadcast themselves playing video games and other people can tune in and watch. Every live stream has a chat box next to it. And the unique thing about these chat boxes is that there's a special emote system enabled in them. And you can think of them sort of like emoji, except there's one big difference. Every emoji has a text label with it. So that's different from emojis because you can use these text labels to say them out loud. You can say cap out loud, but you're not really going to hear people going around saying crying laughing face whenever they feel like the crying laughing face. And because it has a text element, these emoticons are a little more similar to language than we might have expected. You can write them wherever words are written, you can speak them wherever words are spoken. But it's different from language because every word has an image associated with it. So back to those examples from the beginning, and I'll just walk you through what these mean. So the first one, kappa, is actually a sarcasm marker. When my friend said allergies don't exist, kappa, I wasn't in person with him to see his nonverbal cues and make sure, that he was joking, so he included just to be clear that he wasn't trying to be mean. Poggers is an image of Pepe the Frog, and he's obviously very excited. And usually poggers means that there's something astonishing that happened, maybe something that you want others to be excited about too. Forehead is a special case. It used to be just a laughing emote, but has evolved to a specific kind of sarcasm marker. It's usually used to jokingly oversimplify something complex. And Feels Bad Man is a little more self-explanatory, thanks to our friend, very expressive, Pepe. He's feeling bad, man. So that's just some of the examples, and so why did I study these? Well, when I was studying them, I realized that they displayed a lot of language properties that are typically attributed to just regular languages such as English, French, German, and so on. But visually and verbally, these emotes actually display properties just like normal languages do. So a man named Charles Hockett, he proposed a bunch of design features of language that all human language shares. Two of those properties are productivity and morphology, and those are the ones I'll talk about because Twitch emotes show them the most prominently. Productivity just refers to the fact that we make up new words all the time. We make up new words to express new ideas, new concepts, new ways of living. If there's something we want to talk about and we humans make up words. And there are different ways to make up those words. You can either make them kind of out of nowhere, just make a completely new word, or you can make them based on existing words. One strategy for making new words based on existing words is blending. Take the example, smoke and fog, you get the word smog. And that's where it comes from. Most people, when they use the word smog now, they don't think of smoke plus fog. It's just its own standalone word now. Morphology is a little more complicated. It talks about splitting words into parts, and each part has a little meaning, and then when you combine those parts, you combine the meanings, and you get a new word. Here's what I'm saying. Look at the word designers. Okay, so design is a noun or a verb that refers to the process of idea formation. ER is a suffix that refers to a person who does. We all know that. So when you say designer, you get a person who does idea formation. And then S means nothing on its own. But when it's on the end of a word, we know it means plural. So designers is multiple people who do idea formation. So hopefully you get the idea now. Up next, I have just a bunch of examples of Twitch emotes displaying productivity morphology. Unfortunately, I don't have time to explain all the meanings of these, but you can see the patterns in how people create new emotes or new words. So back to poggers. Poggers is actually based on an older emote called PogChan. And it's an image of a guy who's obviously very excited. He's got his duck lips going on. And you can see whoever made poggers based poggers off of PogChan using elements already in PogChan. He used the pog morpheme, and we've also got visually those lips going on as well. And out of those, people made more emotes by chopping them up. So pog is kind of a smaller extended version, and they chopped the word in half, they zoomed in on his lips. Same thing with poggers, you can do that and chop the word in half, and you zoom in on his lips. Here we have some examples of some meaningless morphemes, like that S. It doesn't mean anything on its own, but it means plural. In this case, all these emotes have W or E on the end, a capital letter. It means nothing on its own, but when you put it in front of a streamer's name, you can expect to get like a really zoomed in version of their face. E just means it was also a little warped. And here we just have an example of circumfix. We've got something at the beginning and something at the end, and the part in the middle is the part that changes. These are a little more self-explanatory. We've got feels bad man, feels good man, feels wow man, feels weird man. You can see it probably keeps on going. Blending, so like with smoke and fog, we can blend emotes as well. We've got hypers and poggers, and you can push them together and make poggies. And you can see both the word is combined and the image is combined. One more example, we've got easy and pepega. You can combine them and get easyga. So why does this all matter? Well, Twitch emotes are still a jargon. You probably still don't know what most of those images mean, so it's only understood by an in-group. But the people who do understand this language use it like a language, and there is so much complex meaning behind it. And I think we all experience that as well with electronic communication, internet communication. We know, the way you punctuate something matters, whether you capitalize it. Emojis mean more than they do at face value. So I think with electronic communication, we should look out for them more. We should continue to acknowledge new forms of communication, validate them, and study them. I was pleasantly surprised to find that one of my favorite kind of slang systems looked a lot like a regular language. And I think if we study more forms of new communication, we might see more similarities like this as well. And so be on the lookout for this, and thank you.
She posts on the picture. It's like, how does that the picture works, including with the word that creates for some human beings. So do you know how does that work?
Are you asking more about how Twitch emotes work?
Yeah.
So when you type in Twitch chat in a chat box next to a live stream, you will have to type the label of the emote exactly with precise capitalization. But when you send your message to the chat, that word is replaced with the image. So on Twitch, you will just see the image and you won't see the word. But in some other places, not every website has the technology where it transforms the word into the image. So some people will still just use the word without the image there. But people who understand the word will be able to recall the image in their head.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Any next question for some people?
I had a question about Twitch emotes. I was wondering if there was any, I guess, potential for helping with memory, because I know like the dual picture and language thing kind of like helps to memorize these terms and associate them with certain pictures, or if it could also help with even learning other languages in one way or another.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Something I touched on in my paper as well. Another feature of Twitch emotes that make them very language-like is the way you acquire these as a language. It's not something you study like you would study Spanish in school. The way most people pick these up is using them a lot. And honestly, I don't know much about memory, but I think one of my personal strategies for memory is using things a lot and repeatedly. And I think that's something that's reflected in Twitch emotes. People learn how to use these, learn what they mean just by using them in contact with other people. And I think that's a powerful aid for memory.
So please join me in one final round of applause for our second panel.